All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. This is Pastor Dowell. Well, it's been quite some time since I've probably made a video speaking just on the financial front. Now, let me give you a little bit of background about myself. Number one, I don't have any money. I just don't. But however, I do keep up with what's going on in the world of money, commerce, and I do it for a reason. I do it because it lets me gauge with the little amount of funds that I do have. It does let me gauge the direction I need to go and what I need to be doing. So I have chiropractors, doctors, lawyers, people actually who are in the stock market, people who have MBA degrees, who contact me all the time by way of YouTube. We'll either make a comment one way or the other, but they do, and they ask me questions time to time about, what should I be doing? What should I be doing? So I just thought I'd come in here for a moment and give us an example of what to be looking at, considering what we're staring at here in the United States of America as far as the economy goes. I know that many of you out there are in college, and getting college degrees and stuff, and of course if you get them in the financial market, I would say that you're wasting your money as well as your time. If anything, if you want to do anything, you want to make a smart move. It's raining out here pretty bad right now, but if you want to make a smart move in this particular environment that we're in right now, you probably want to consider getting an A&M degree, A&M degree, agriculture and mining. And the reason being is because it's just sense. And, common sense in the time that we're living in right now is just not there. And that's the reason why a lot of people trust and value my opinion. Because, I use practical, everyday common sense. But I can tell you right now that the majority of all my wisdom and knowledge, it derives from the scriptures and the Holy Spirit. It's hard to believe that in 1987, the United States of America has went from being the greatest creditor nation on the face of planet Earth to the greatest debtor nation here in 2011. And not only are we the greatest debtor nation here on this earth now, but we are actually the greatest debtor nation in the history of mankind. Now, the truth is, you can tell that all those people who have had MBA degrees in the last 25 and 30 years who got us into this mess, you can tell they hadn't been learning too much in school, and that's the reason why you can't trust them even still till today. If you got to go to school and get an MBA degree to get us into the kind of financial chaos that we're in today, then my advice is you to steer clear as far as you can, because the truth is, you're not going to make any money in any of that stuff anyway. I remember from reading history that there used to be a time, that people they used to worry about the sterling. Sterling. See if sterling was going to be able to keep its position as the world reserve currency. Well, they couldn't do it. They couldn't do it because they were in a serious decline and a financial meltdown, much like we are here in the United States of America today. And do you actually think that these people on NBC, Fox Financial, or the president, or the Treasury Secretary, do y'all actually think for 1 minute that they're actually going to get up here and tell you the truth? And let me tell you what the truth is. If I was the president, and I'm not, and I never will be, and have no ambitions to be in one, but I would tell you like this: we're broke. There's never been a country as sorry as we have been, and as sorry as we are. We cannot pay our bills, we cannot pay our debts, and we have really messed up royally. Now, do you actually think that they're going to report that to you? No, they're going to try to make everything look optimistic. They're going to, create an illusion that everything is going fine and everything is doing good. I just don't know for the life of me what the generation coming behind me, I've already told my own children, don't y'all look for nothing too much in this particular generation. Even the little lifestyle that I had growing up amongst their age, they're not going to have the same opportunities that we had. As a matter of fact, the United States of America, as I had already prophesied some 20 years ago, is going to become a third world country. And of course, you can't see it right now because we're under the illusion of a printing press. We're under the illusion of having that printing press and to be able to print money out of thin air. I mean, you think for a moment. You know, a lot of people are crying, revolution, revolution, revolution. We need a revolution in this country. Think for a moment. Do you actually think that with 45 million people on food stamps or EBT cards here in the United States of America, do you actually think a revolution is really coming? Nah, not for one bit. As long as these people are receiving government subsidies, as long as they're receiving a government handout and stuff, you can forget about any form of revolution in this country. And like I said before, we're so docile and demoralized as a people. They pretty much got us by the jugular right where they want us at. What do I think the future is holding? Well, I think the future is going to be holding in commodities. Like I said before, I think that if you are invested in the stock market, you're a fool. Now, that's just my own opinion. If you're in any kind of paper, you're even a bigger fool. I think that commodities and raw materials is the wave of this particular future right here that we're standing at and we're staring at. Because hey, let me give you a little bit of historical proof here. Do you know that within the last 40 years there has never been one major discovery of what you call oil? You know what I mean? I'm talking about big old, with all the technology we got today, big old fields of oil. Do y'all know that there's not been one major discovery of oil? So think for a moment. Why do you think that the United States of America was in Iraq? And why did you think those people in Iraq during the First and the Second War, the first thing they started doing is burning up the oil fields? Why do you think they're there? Do you think we're there because we care about the Iraqi people and we really want to liberate them? Do you really truly believe that mess? Well, if you do, Pastor Dowell has some beachfront property on the sun and the moon. You send me a couple of $1 million and I'll sell you a deed to it and we'll get you there whenever I get the space shuttle done. And that's what they're pretty much having the American public to believe today. So, no, we didn't go into Iraq because we care one bit about the Iraqi people. We went over there for resources. No country ever goes to war unless it has something to do with resources, something to gain. So not only did we take the oil from Iraq, but we took Saddam Hussein's gold. Remember, he put all that gold in that tanker, that gas tanker. We took every bit of that too, and then we had him hung. And then you look at today. We got Libya. We got the UN, the United Nations over there in Libya. Why are we in Libya? And you might say, well, Pastor Dowell, it's not just us. Wrong. The headquarters of the United Nations is in New York, right here in America. And the United States of America is the firepower to the United Nations. So while we may be dressing it all up, making it look like the other people are taking the head, we're the ones who instigated it, and we're the ones who are still in the mix of that. Why do you think we're in Libya? Well, I'm going to tell you the reason why we're in Libya. Do you think we're in Libya because we care about what they're doing to their people? Not so. We're in Libya because of the oil. Because there has never been any more strategic oil discovered anywhere. And we don't have too much oil reserves regardless of what they tell you. So we are in some serious trouble in the times that we're living in. That's the reason why you see Pastor Dowell talking about tangible assets. I'm a poor man, so I have to actually, do the things that I feel is going to be best. And that's why I talk about silver a lot, because silver is within the reach of a lot of people. I think that you should become self-sustainable because I'm telling you, we're not looking at a 5-10 year wonder where things are going to be bad here. We're looking at a 20-30 year wonder where things are going to be possibly 40. So no, I believe that we're over in Libya simply because of the oil. Do you understand there's one thing about Omar Gaddafi is that, he made a man-made river through that country over there. And there used to be a time in ancient historical biblical history and record that water was a high commodity. That's the reason why people would guard wells, because water was in great demand then. And that's a commodity. Well, you know, now there's water everywhere except over in the desert. Now, Libya also has the largest man-made river that runs through that country. And so, the United States of America, as well as the rest of the European nations, which consist mostly of the UN, who has the firepower, they're going to do everything they can to gobble up all the resources and then stage play this thing and twist this thing around and tell you people anything because you want to believe it. But we're looking at some deep, dark days here. We already have a police state here in America where the law enforcement and the police are just literally off the chain. They're not abiding by any laws. I don't understand how they expect the people to abide by laws when we got the Gestapo SS right here on our own streets of America. And I think that your police are in some serious trouble because the sentiments of the Americans, they're getting tired. They're getting real tired, and they can see that there's no justice in the land. And so the powers that be, they're going to have to come out of their holes one day, and it's going to happen. It's going to be ugly, but it's going to happen. As soon as they start cutting off Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and then they cut off the food stamps, that's when you're going to see the revolution here in the United States of America. That's why I teach you self-preservation, learn how to preserve yourself. But more than that, I'm sad to even say this, but it's sad that the American people now have to live in fear of their own government, their own police force, who's supposed to be upholding the laws of the Constitution. It's just a bad, bad state of affairs that we're in. I feel sorry for you. I think that one of the best things for the younger generation is doing coming up behind me 20, 30 years is to learn how to speak Mandarin. And that's, in case you don't know what that means Chinese, because they're going to be the next world superpower. The dollar is getting ready to lose its world reserve currency, just like the sterling did, and it's just going to be a sad situation. We're no longer going to be the big boy on the block because we're broke. We're insolvent as a country. And you can thank all these politicians of today who have sold this country out down the tube for the corporations so they can line their pockets and line their so-called generational pockets for years to come. We're looking at the greatest transfer of wealth that has ever been in the history of man, just like when a lot of people were very apprehensive on what to do about the sterling. Some people made a lot of money on investments because they went ahead and got out of it and switched over because they had understanding. And then most people were pessimistic, and anytime somebody ever spoke anything against the sterling like they do the dollar today, they try to do everything they can to silence what they call the voice of dissent. And so these people are going to end up in the same old categories as many other people because they can't see the forest for the trees. Sad part about it is, if you're in paper in any kind of way, shape, fashion, or form, you might as well get ready to lose your livelihood, get ready to lose your lifestyle, get ready to lose your wealth, and definitely get ready to lose your health because you're not going to have any money. Now, to conclude this video, I think that all safety and all deliverance and salvation is in a perfect relationship with the creator of the universe, the Heavenly Father, and that's the truth. So I'm going to get a lot of people that, listen to me and some that don't. You have to understand, I too much don't pay attention to people who don't listen to me because, after all, the people who don't listen to me, and I believe I'm a voice of reason, who do they listen to? What advice do they take? What is their lifestyle like? What kind of moves have they made in the last few years that show that they know what they're talking about? So that's the reason why I don't pay too much attention to people who are negative, because you got a whole bunch of people like that here in this world. So anyway, I hope I've been able to say something to encourage your hearts and minds. Start saving money as much as you can, because the dollar is still, regardless of what they say, ain't worth too much of nothing. Look to live simple and get into the survival mode, because that's exactly what we're doing now. We are in the survival mode, and that's the truth. And that's the truth, straight away. I hope I've been able to help you. Be encouraged, because the King is coming.